Hi, I'm Tom Collins, Executive Director of the Arizona Citizens Clean Elections Commission. I'm here today with Chairman Galen Paton, who recently became Chairman of the Commission and has been on the Commission for the past 4 years. So thank you for being with us today, Chairman Paton.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question we kind of like to ask, and is to try to, because we have a 5-member board of various parties, what's your background and what have you brought to clean elections that you think has made a difference?
Well, I'm a longtime Arizona resident. We moved here in 1970 when I was 11 years old, and I've lived here most of my adult life. I lived in New Mexico for a few years and Texas to grad school, but other than that, 43 years I've lived in southern Arizona, and I grew up in Tucson, went to elementary, middle, high school in Tucson, went to the University of Arizona. All my siblings, my mom, my wife, all graduated at the University of Arizona as well as I did. So we've got a pretty strong background in the state. I taught school for 28 years, the middle school, high school, and small college level, as well as I coached softball and volleyball for many years.
So one of the things that has been sort of your signature issue since you've been on the commission as chairman has been voter education. Can you talk to us a little bit about your vision for voter education and why you think it's important?
Well, I was a teacher for many years, and I'm one of the few that aren't lawyers on the commission, and so that gives me a different perspective probably than other people. And I just envision that the electorate needs to be more educated about who's running and what their agendas are. And so that's been my emphasis, is to improve voter participation in learning about their candidates.
Yeah, so we're the commission's a nonpartisan agency, and we produce things like a voter education guide that has statements from candidates. But as you say, it's important to have information about what the specific candidates stand for. Talk to us a little bit about why that's an important value when you go to cast a ballot.
Well, I think we're probably too partisan now. We're a divided country. I think that all of us have something to bring to the table, and I don't like just voting for one slate just because they're your particular party. And I have not done that in the past. I mean, often I have, but I just feel like everybody has something to offer, and we should learn about these people before we vote, just not check because it's an R or a D. And so my emphasis is to give information to the electorate so that when they're making their choices, they'll know what these people really stand for instead of just going checking because they're a certain party.
Sure. No, that makes sense. One of the things that you've been focused on when we talk about voter education is talking to younger folks who might be becoming voters. I assume that comes also from your background as an educator.
Correct.
When you, which sort of raises the question, like when you first were voting or eligible to vote, what was that experience like for you?
It was something that I really anticipated. Just like when I turned 16, I wanted to drive right away and get my driver's license. When I turned 18, I wanted to vote, and I was young for my grade. I was 17 when I was a freshman in college for a couple of months, and so it's something that I saw as a right of adulthood. And also, I've done a lot of genealogy in my ancestry, and I found some of my ancestors fought in the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Civil War, the Mexican-American War, as well as World War II, and so on. And I just feel like that their blood, their sacrifice, I should, even though I wasn't in the military, that I should respect that and respect all they went through to have free elections, that we should all participate and not take it for granted.
Sure. So we'll be coming up on into the state elections here in the near future. what are some of the things that that voters can look forward to from the Clean Elections Commission?
Well, I want to try to expand our pamphlet to explain to people exactly who these people running for office are, what their agendas are, what they believe in, so that they can make a better choice for themselves.
Yeah.
I hope that we're going to have more well-attended debates, and I think it's really important for everybody to get involved, that we involve everybody, every walk of life.
Sure. One of the things that I think people may not realize is that although you're from Pima County, you represent the Pima County on the commission, you're probably one of the most well-traveled people around the state. So how does that inform your work as a commissioner?
Well, I used to teach on a reservation outside of Tucson, and we played. My teams played all over the state. I've been to about every little town in this state that's on the map, and through my travels, and also my parents traveled a lot through the state. My mom used to teach on the Navajo reservation many years ago, and she was in the state in the early 50s.
Yeah.
So it's just that I know the terrain. I know the rural people are view things maybe differently than urban people, and I've been on a reservation. I taught on the reservation for 11 years on the Dawn-O'Otham reservation, and so I have maybe a different perspective than other people. About our state and how we want our state to be represented.
Yeah. Well, Chairman Paton, thank you for joining us today. And if you would like to find out more about some of the issues and items we've discussed, or find out more about how you can access information about voting, elections, and candidates, please log on to our website at azcleanelections.gov, where you'll find everything from a debate schedule to information about candidates and information about how you can cast your ballot in an informed way. We're a trusted resource, a nonpartisan resource, and a resource that's there for you, the voter. Thank you very much for joining us.